Okay, good morning. We love focusing on technology and how it kind of brings about some form of social good. This morning on the show, we're looking at something ultra cool, all right? An AI powered fetal heart rate monitor for mothers in labor or post 36 weeks of gestation. Why is it important? Let's figure it out. I've got a very sweet and cool person joining me on the show. He's one of the founders at InnAccel. AVR is on the show. That's basically A.Vijayarajan, and he's given me permission to call him AVR. It's good to see you. How are you this morning? And thank you so much for joining us on this little edition of Tech for Change. I appreciate your time.
Good morning. Good morning to everyone. And it'll be a pleasure to share our experience to everyone.
Well, I have to start by
Go
saying
ahead.
congratulations, because you guys just recently won the WB HealthTech Award, which is really fantastic. So what was that experience? Was that something that was expected, or it just came out of the blue?
I, to be frank, we applied,
Right.
and quite a lot of people apply, and you keep your fingers crossed,
Right.
and people judge based on the impact and innovation and stuff. And we were proud of our innovation,
Right.
and we were proud of the impact what it can create.
Right.
But somebody recognizing is always a good thing,
Right.
right?
Absolutely. Now, what you guys have developed is based on the next gen ECG signal processing, and it's said to be more accurate, reliable, and easier to use compared to conventional Doppler-based devices. I want to understand what is the device and the technology behind it for a lot of our listeners who do not understand this space. Can you make it a little easier for us, please?
Yeah, see, before that, I'll just tell you how we go about identifying the problem on which we want
Please.
to work.
Yeah, please.
So, predominantly, innovation for MedTech happens in the developed countries. Okay. You may know that about 80% of our MedTech are imported.
Hmm.
Now, where does it come from? In the developed countries.
Right.
And how do they make innovation? And their environment is actually, they have resources.
Right.
Okay, their infrastructure is much better. And they have a skilled caregivers, much higher than what we have.
Okay.
And they have insurance there.
Right.
So compare it to that. So we have a low resource setting, and we don't have a skilled laborers.
Okay.
And we are all pay from our pocket.
Okay.
So you take the innovation done from a market, much different from innovation done in our market.
Okay.
So we decided that we need to innovate for India
Okay.
and manufacture for the Indian price points,
Okay.
not adapt something which is available elsewhere.
So
that's a thesis with which we go.
where does this product, kind of come? Like, who is it the most useful
So
for?
what
Is
we
it
did
mothers? Is it the medical staff? Who is it the most useful for?
It's for both. Okay, medical staff anyway work for mothers, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So predominantly, most of the mothers, not necessarily high-risk mothers,
Okay.
more so for high-risk mother,
Right.
the labor monitoring is very important.
Right.
Okay. There could be a lot of complications. And the one marker is actually how well the fetus is responding
Okay.
to the contraction.
Okay.
So you continue to monitor, and the fetal heart rate is the one point, which probably gives you a big picture
Okay.
about what is the current status.
Okay.
So typically, they were using a Doppler ultrasound. So I'll tell you the problem there. Okay, so now there is a fetus, and you want to measure the heart rate.
Right.
So first thing is you need to position your probe near the fetus.
Okay.
At the 36 weeks level, fetus moves a lot.
Okay.
And mother also moves, which means I need to be repositioning my probe periodically.
Okay.
So that calls for a skill.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So that's what we really wanted to avoid.
Interesting.
Now, what we have is a ECG based signal.
Okay.
So we take the fetal ECG, and our device has got a multiple probe, So you position the probe on the mother's abdomen and then connect the electrical signal.
Right.
Okay. It's very easy to say that, but I'll tell you the difficulty involved in that.
Sure.
When I'm collecting electrical signal, I'll get the fetus ECG signal, mother's ECG signal, and muscle signal.
Okay.
Okay, our muscle actually when it moves gives you electrical signal.
Okay.
And the ambient signal.
Okay.
So all the four signals will come. Okay, it is like you are outside a room. Inside the room, four people are talking. Now you need to figure out
which signal kind of belongs to which person. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that is where we come the technology.
Right. Now you've
So
also
all the four will come together.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. Please finish what you were saying. You're saying all the four would come together.
So all the four signals come together, and our challenge is to identify the fetus signal. And once we identify the signal, and then deriving the fetal heart rate is not very difficult.
Okay.
It's easy to do that.
You've also developed a low-cost portable device designed to provide breathing support for infants with respiratory distress. Now, that's very cool. But I'm very curious on the motivation of kind of setting up something like this, AVR. Like, where did you and Siraj kind of come together and say that, okay, this is something that we want to get into? Please tell me that story.
Oh, okay. This is roughly maybe about 10 years back.
Okay.
And with all my stint in multinational companies, technology companies like Wipro, GE Healthcare, and HP. And I was looking at doing something different, socially impactful.
Okay.
And Siraj was coming out of exiting a startup.
Okay.
And he was also trying to do something in the healthcare.
Okay.
So we met through a common friend. And then we were just debating. So what is it we can do?
Yeah.
And this thesis came, which I told in the beginning, saying that innovation has to happen on the ground. So even in our GE days, we used to have something called in country, for country.
Right.
Even there, people realize that bringing technology from outside is not the right way of doing it.
Sure.
So we came together.
Right.
And then we said that it should be socially impactful. You know, one thing which we used to say is that doing good and doing well need not be mutually exclusive.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So doing well is for you and doing good is for others.
Yeah.
So that's fundamental motivation. Okay, we believed that it can coexist.
Right.
That's how we started. Then another important thing before you jump into the other question, that's important one. How do I identify the need on which I need to work on? Okay.
Right.
So if you allow me, just I'll tell you.
Please. Please, yeah, go for it.
So about close to 40% of our birth in India happens not in an advanced setting.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. That's true. Yes.
And
yes.
if the baby born has got some complication, the baby is sent to the nearest hospital.
Okay.
Could be about 25-30 kilometers.
Right.
And they use all sort of transport. Okay, ambulance, auto rickshaw, even two-wheelers.
Okay.
And many of these kids do not survive the transportation. Okay. Now you tell me this problem doesn't exist in developed countries.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So why do you think America? Why do you think America will be developing a product for this situation?
Fair enough.
So this is what we meant by on the ground identify what's the problem and what is the need.
Right. Okay.
And this is an interesting problem because for this problem there is a solution exists. Okay. So this is not a knowledge gap. Okay. It is actually know to do gap. You know something, but you don't know how to do that.
Right.
Okay. So that was a sort of a trigger for us saying that we have to do something. So now we can say that, yeah, I can improve the infrastructure, I can improve the skills of the persons and all those things. But that's going to take time. I think government of India is trying to do that. So meanwhile, can you do something to help the current situation?
Okay.
So that was a motivation.
Right.
For this, okay.
Awesome.
Now, in terms of the size of this problem, quite a lot of premature birth happens
Right.
across the world. So apparently, if I remember correctly, there are 15 million what we call as a born too soon.
Yeah, I'm probably one of those in that list, by the way.
All over.
So because I think I was a premature.
Oh, you are one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in India, it's about 3 million.
Okay.
And these preterm babies are prone for that respiratory compromise.
Compromises. Okay.
And out of that, we lose about 150,000 kids in a year because of that respiratory distress syndrome.
Right. Right.
And out of that, over 30% of them, we lose them on doing the transport.
These are really fascinating numbers if we kind of look at it. So also getting to you guys building the tech behind this, right? I want to understand what are some of the difficulties that you kind of faced while trying to build the tech behind it and how you overcame the same. And if you don't mind me asking, how long has the company been around?
Your company, I mean, from registration wise, if you look at, probably we are there for about now 8 years.
Okay.
Or 8-9 years.
Yeah, that's a long time to develop a product because there's a lot of R&D that goes into it, right? So I'm sure you had a lot of hiccups over the tenure of 8 years.
No, one of the things actually, my partner, we took a decision. This is a long haul.
Right.
This is not like a 2 months, 3 months, 3 years, and it's a long haul.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, coming back to the specific question you asked about technology and the development and the challenges, I'll tell you this: one of the domains where multiple technology come together: information technology, electrical, mechanical, material, sometimes optical. All of them, they really come together. Now, you don't get a person with all these skills. So you have a multidisciplinary team.
Wow.
So that's the first challenge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
And then the moment you have more people, then you need to have a team interaction. All those things are required.
Yeah.
So the best solution for that is to have a well-defined process.
Okay.
A well-defined process will take care of all these nuances of multiple type of people coming together.
Awesome.
So first thing we did is actually we put together a development process.
Right.
And we said that if you follow this process, you are confident of coming out with a safe product.
Okay.
Not only it gives you the functionality and performance, and it has to be safe when you start using on the patient.
Right.
So that's a fundamental premises in which we created the team, technology, and process.
Interesting.
And we work with wherever technology available, and we had consultants coming all over the world, paid consultants, university professors, PhD scholars. So we don't hesitate to take inputs from people who have the knowledge.
Okay.
We want to do the innovation here, but the expertise available elsewhere, we take it and integrate with them. And the clinical community is the one which really provides you the input, because your early prototype, they should give you the feedback.
Okay.
And they should have the confidence that they can try this on the patient.
Interesting.
So these are some of the challenges.
My last question to you, of course, before we say bye to you, and this is something that we do often on the Tech for Change segment, is to kind of predict where you feel as an industry expert the industry will be, particularly in India, over the next 5 years. So if you had to make any predictions, AVR, like, in terms of either, and I'm not only saying from, your startup's perspective, just in general from the industry, where do you see it evolving to in India in the next 5 years? What are your top predictions? Let's maybe do 2 top predictions for the next 5 years.
Yeah, I think digital health will have a major impact on healthcare delivery.
Okay.
Okay, which will lead us to what we call as a democratization of healthcare.
Okay.
Where information is shared with the end customer, like people like us. We are a consumer of healthcare.
Okay.
So one can take a decision. Okay. The responsibility of being healthy, it's not only is there in the hospital, it is also there in the individual.
Okay.
So digital health will have a major impact on healthcare delivery, and the people sitting in even tier 2, tier 3 towns will be in a position to get the best opinion on their healthcare condition.
Okay.
But a caveat is, okay, healthcare is a high-tech business. Okay, I can bring in technology,
Yeah.
but it's also a high-touch business.
Explain that to
So
me.
you can't
What does that
just
mean? Like a
create a
high-touch
ATM.
business? What do you mean by that?
Yeah, so imagine that, I don't know how young you are, you look young.
Thank you.
And many of you you don't go to the bank, correct?
No, I
So in
hate
our
going to
days,
the
actually,
bank.
we go to
I
the
hate
bank.
going to the bank. I hate going to the bank.
Exactly. Okay. Now people think that, can I avoid people going to the hospital? Just like what we brought the ATM to the next door. Okay. So avoid the bank. So avoid going to the stores. Amazon and Flipkart helps us.
Right.
Avoid going to the restaurant. Okay. Now the businesses, you would like to be seen by the doctor. Okay. Now doctor has to measure information from you. So that's not a high touch business. But do they use a lot of technology? Lots and lots of technology they use. So you can identify, okay, how much of touch is necessary.
Okay.
Okay. The rest actually you digitize it.
Interesting. So you're saying we will see a minimalizing of the high touch part of healthcare in the next 5 years. Am I right in assuming that?
Yes, exactly.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even if it is required, can we do it from the home?
Sure. I mean, of course, I think when it comes to medical aspect and medical issues, there are some things that, the touch is required, right? You need to physically be there and all that. But like you very aptly put, a lot of aspects that can be digitized get digitized, right? And the remaining, of course, we can have it the way it is. AVR, this conversation has been fascinating to understand not only what you guys have done, but also to understand your insights into the healthcare space. And I want to thank you for kind of taking out the time because we are at a lack of time, and you've broken it down so beautifully for our listeners. On a parting note, is there anything you'd like to say to all our listeners before I say bye-bye to you?
Yeah, I think today parents are encouraging their kids to go for a startup, and then kids are actually charged up to being an entrepreneur, and we want more people to come into the entrepreneurial domain,
right,
and innovate for India, and that will take us to this make in India much better. So design in India and then make in India.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your time.
We would like to encourage people to come there.
Sorry. Please finish what you were saying.
We would like to encourage people to coming into the entrepreneurial.
Wonderful.
That's it.
Like, looking at your background and your trajectory of career, if at this, after doing so much in, various, companies, if you can do something like this, I think you saying this is a lovely little motivation for all the younger folk out there. Thank you for being on this edition of Tech for Change, and I wish you guys all the very best. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
94.3 Radio 1.